Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. On my community page, I've asked questions, and one question came in from a viewer named S.A. Okay, don't know who that is, but there you go. You know who you are. And the question was, how do Republican voters see the split in their party? Are they turned off enough to vote Democrat, or will they just not go to the polls? Now, I have my opinions on this, but I'm no longer a Republican. I gave up on the Republican Party a long time ago. However, my identical twin brother Gary is a Republican. And I have him on my phone right now, and I was going to ask him. So, Gary, you've been listening to this. How do you see the split in the Republican Party currently?
Okay, so just for those who can't see me, because I'm on a phone.
Exactly.
My identical twin brother Dave and I sound exactly alike, and we have fooled many people, including ourselves, with the likeness of our voice.
Which is why I'll try and talk over you so that you can see that I'm not, like, recording this and hitting play.
No, he's recording, he's speaking. So it's not David just playing both sides of the argument here. So I'm still a registered Republican. I guess I could proudly wear a RINO badge because I'm very much to the left of Trump and the whole authoritarian regime that he's trying to build.
Isn't it funny that you're now a RINO, even though
they
took your party?
I wear it proudly.
It's like you've been carjacked, thrown in the back seat, and now you're the carjacker in the back seat, the interloper in your own car.
Well, I mean, honestly, the Republican Party kind of left me behind back when McCain and Palin ran, because I just couldn't support that whole Tea Party nonsense. But so I guess being a more moderate Republican, what I think, I don't think the Republicans really will stay away from the polls because they're just too disciplined to go vote.
Yeah.
But what I think you'll find is there'll be more of motivation to do one of three things. Either they'll vote Democrat if the Democrat is of the more moderate nature, like Joe Biden, versus Hillary, which may be a bridge too far for most Republicans.
Wait a minute, I thought Joe Biden was a communist, socialist, liberal.
Oh God. Well, I mean, if you're a Trump Republican,
sure
everyone to your left, I mean, Rush Limbaugh is probably a liberal to them, right?
Hell, you're practically a libtard to them.
Oh, I definitely am. So I think if you get a moderate Democrat, Republican would consider voting for him. So like Biden. I think if the candidate was like a Bernie Sanders or a Hillary, which may be too far to the left or too controversial, they'll either try and find an independent third party, or they just won't check the box. I think they'll still vote Republican for their senator and their congressman, so they still want to show up at the poll and vote no on any sort of bill that will increase their taxes, for example.
Sure.
But I think that as far as the presidential candidates, they'll either just not. It depends how close to how much they feel aligned to Trump.
Right.
If Trump's just a little too far to the right for him, yeah, they might vote for that authoritarian, like DeSantis, for example. If they're more moderate, like me, they'll either go for the moderate Democrat, like a Biden, or they'll find an independent. I mean, if Trump gets the nomination, or maybe even DeSantis, there'll probably be a third party run.
There's a party called the No Labels Party that's trying to run a centrist candidate. I just did a reading on that. And there's some concern from the Democrats that this is something to kind of slough off the moderate Democrat votes, so that, because, a MAGA Republican's going to vote for the Republicans regardless. So they're going to get that 25, that percentage of people. So if you can split the Democrat vote, that's how you can get a MAGA president into the office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. You could get a third party run out of Liz Cheney, for example. I don't think she's going to do a run this year, but I mean, she's certainly someone, how her and Kinzinger conducted themselves during the whole January 6th hearings.
Yeah.
I would certainly consider voting for them, not because I necessarily agree with their politics, but I know they're ethical and they value the same standards that I value.
Exactly. I mean, my politics and Liz Cheney's do not overlap at all. But I do respect her and Adam Kinzinger because at least they've got a bar set to the point where supporting my party, betraying my country. They can make that decision and then publicly call it out, which is, a lot of the Republicans that are in Congress are said behind the scenes to not support Trump, but they don't have a spine among them to actually say that publicly because they might get social media dislikes and Trump saying mean tweets about him or something.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm all about the being popular on social media because that's so important to me.
By the way, Gary, in 2020, who did you vote for?
I voted for Joe Biden in 2020.
And what was what was the campaign sign that you had on your front lawn?
Oh, I have a campaign sign I bought on Etsy that says, "I'm a Republican, not an idiot." Biden Harris.
There you go. Hey, send me that picture. I'm going to use that as a thumbnail for this, okay?
Okay, I could do that.
All right, I'll talk to you later, bud.
All right, have a good night.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye.
Okay, you heard it right from the horse's mouth, which that horse sounds exactly like me. So again, that is my twin brother. My mom tells a story that when we were younger, the doctor said we were fraternal twins. It's only when we turned 50 we did the DNA testing on that. Nope, we're identical twins. And that was a surprise to nobody except to my mother, who is still insisted that we are fraternal twins because, well, she's my mom and just, yeah. But no, we look alike. We sound alike. Oh my God. I know people listening. It's like, that was you just talking to yourself. My brother has visited my work and we have messed with people tremendously. It's great fun. Okay, so the question is, now that we're 7 minutes in this video, how do Republicans see the split in their party? By the way, in case my twin brother didn't quite get the message across, this is not a MAGA-friendly channel. It just isn't. The MAGA movement is American fascism. It's right-wing Christian nationalism. And if you don't believe that and you're a MAGA supporter, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you other than picture the Democrats doing the same thing to you, and it's not a Christian government they're trying to put in place. And then maybe you would say it's fascism. You just got to figure out that empathy and putting yourself in other people's shoes. Okay, so what will happen with the Republicans? Are they turned off enough to vote Democrat or not go to the polls? So, Spirit, what can you tell me about the Republican participation in the upcoming primaries and general election? What can you tell me about Republicans and how they're feeling about the upcoming primaries, general elections? They want peace. They want calm. This is not the MAGA people, mind you, but they're separating themselves from the MAGA crowd. The MAGA crowds are the ones that are stirring up. Does that mean, and it's both. Some may not go to the polls, but those who do go to the polls are going to vote for the candidates that calm things down, not rile them up. They're tired of the drama. My brother has been a Republican his whole life. My dad was a Republican. I was a Republican. The Republican Party left me back like in the early mid-90s. And obviously my brother was 10 years or so behind me as far as that goes. But yeah, they're not happy. They're not jiggy with the turmoil. And they sure as heck are not going to chain themselves to Donald Trump because they understand who this guy is. My brother is not a RINO. I guess he is a RINO now with the MAGAs in charge of the Republican Party. Mind you, I've been on my brother for years to give up his Republican Party affiliation because right now Republicans are associated with fascists. And my brother's not a fascist. There might be a new party that comes out of this. He would actually join the No Labels Party. My brother absolutely would do that as long as they were showing fiscal responsibility. He has no problem with good social programs. He just wants to make sure we're not going into major debt to finance them. He doesn't want to burden his kids or eventually his grandkids with that debt. It's like, come on, figure out a way to pay for this. If you have to raise taxes, you raise taxes. If you have to cut spending, cut spending. If you have to cut back the program, cut back the program. But you can make it work. Okay, yeah, so Republicans don't want to chain themselves to the orange menace. They know what that turmoil is. In the past, we have the justice card. In the past, I think they're very patriotic. Republicans, they're the law and order party. They truly are. They're conservative. They don't like change. They want a strong judicial. They want strong law enforcement. They want people to not break laws and take the stuff that belongs to them. So, home burglaries and stuff like that, or robberies, really piss them off because they felt like they've worked hard for their stuff. They don't want somebody coming in just taking it. They also, they don't necessarily like government programs that help poor people because it takes money away from them that they've earned. But if you talk with them and get onto their empathetic side, you can let them know that, if you have social programs that help marginalized people, they won't feel hopeless and feel the need to take from others. They'll get tired of robbing from themselves or robbing their neighbors, and they're going to go into the wealthier neighborhoods because that's where the money is. But, it's justice. And maybe their eyes are being opened to it. George Floyd opened a lot of people's eyes. Current situation is the magician card. They understand that their vote is their power. And if they vote for Trump, they'll put Trump back in power. Their vote is power. If they don't vote for Trump, if they vote for a third-party candidate or Joe Biden, or if they write in Ronald Reagan, that's going to prevent this guy from getting back into power. So the Republicans are key in this election on who they vote for. Overarching energy is the Page of Pentacles. It's that messaging. It's the messaging to young people about ideals. And young people aren't voting for Republicans. They're not turned on by that party at all. And while some young people will vote Republican, because either their parents or they're just conservative by nature, there's not many of them. And there's not a lot of messaging or recruiting to get those young people to vote Republican. So in some ways, even though young people grew up in Republican families, they're not going to vote that way. The lesson to be learned is the Fool. There's a new journey going on here. That centrist party is going to attract Republicans to it. I think it's going to backfire on the Republicans. I do think that the No Labels party was meant to slough off Democrat votes. But what you're going to find is it's going to slough off Republican votes because the RINOs out there who are not going to want to vote for Trump if Trump is the candidate, they'll vote for the No Labels party candidate. They'll vote for the centrist because it's not a Democrat. For the ones that absolutely cannot vote for a Democrat, they'll vote No Labels. For the ones that don't want to vote Trump, they'll probably vote No Labels. Or they might vote Biden. He's right, though. If it was Hillary Clinton instead of Joe Biden out there, he's not going to vote for Hillary. He just isn't. She's been vilified. Outcome, Queen of Swords. They're going to be very discerning. They know what they're up against. They know what the results are of their vote. And they're going to be brutal on it. They may support the Republicans down the ticket, but also remember that a lot of Republicans supported Roe v. Wade, and the current Republican leadership didn't. And they're celebrating the removal of rights of women. So don't think for a second that they're not going to make their state legislators, the House of Representative members, their Senate members pay for that. They're going to be ruthless. Underneath it all, it's a burden. It's a really hard time to be a Republican right now. Because now you've got your conservative values. Especially if you're a fiscal conservative, you want people to spend money wisely. But right now, the Republican Party's vilified, and with good reason, because the leadership has gone fascist. And it's hard because how do you get that party back? You can't put the genie back in the bottle. You either have to kill the party, you either have to excise the cancer that is the MAGA movement, and then rehabilitate your reputation. And if you can't do that, you got to form a new party. And the No Labels party might be that party. Okay. So that's my thoughts on that. And it's my brother's thoughts on that too. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it entertaining. I did call Gary about 2 minutes before I started the video, and I did read the question for him. So he wasn't completely blindsided by that. But that's, if you must know, that's what ended up happening with it. But, he's a good sport for joining me on this one. And we do sound a lot alike. To the point, my wife can't tell us the difference between us on the phones. Our vocal tones are so similar. Hope you enjoyed this reading. Thanks, Gary, for joining me on this one, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.